Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Corbin's Corner podcast. I'm your host, Corbin. I don't even know why I'm saying that because I'm always going to be the host every time I do this, so there's really no point. But thank you all for coming here today. As I've already said, it looks like this is going to be a mostly Jojo episode because there's not really too many people in here, and the crowd has voted that they want to see Jojo. So let's just hop right into it. How do you guys feel about part 1 of Jojo? Because I personally think... Actually, wait, what's part 1's name? Because let me just say how I got started on Jojo. I know I already said this in the last podcast, but just to clear everything up, there was one time I went over to Kamari's house, and... what's part 1 called? Phantom Blood. Okay. I went over to Kamari's house. Phantom Blood, yeah. And, me and Kamari were chilling. We were watching The Promised Neverland, I think we were watching at first. And, wait, let me move this closer. Okay, so we're watching The Promised Neverland. And let me just say, fire. If you haven't seen The Promised Neverland... No, it wasn't The Promised Neverland. I'm dumb. It's, Made in Abyss. I don't know why I said The Promised Neverland. Made in Abyss. Fire. If you haven't seen Made in Abyss, please watch it. Please. Music, amazing. Animation, amazing. Alright? But yeah, after we were done watching that, he was like, Corbin. He looked me in my eyes, deep into my soul. And he said, Corbin, we're gonna watch Jojo. And I'm like, but Kamari, I'll watch Jojo eventually. It was on my watch list. It was on my watch list. He's like, no, you're watching it right now. And I couldn't refuse him. I was in his house. So, hey, Smokey, you're up in here. I don't know if you heard, but this is going to be a mostly Jojo podcast. But yeah, disgusting. I suppose it is. I don't know if I can, because usually the podcast is like an hour and a half long, or maybe longer. So who knows how long I'll actually be talking about Jojo. But I'm going through every part. Anyway, so we sat on his bed, and he just forced me to watch Jojo. And I'm like, okay. And, we started watching part 1, and I'm not going to lie. It got really, really boring. Like, very fast. I mean, there's nothing wrong with part 1. It's average, right? But after all the hype you hear and about Jojo, everyone, the fandom's always like, watch Jojo. You gotta watch Jojo. If you don't watch Jojo, you're not cultured. And it's like, okay, after all this hype, it better be good. And part 1 definitely did not deliver. I almost slept multiple times through part 1, but thank goodness it's only 8 to 10 episodes, so it's extremely short. And I want to say to people who start Jojo, it's 13 episodes. Thank you. I want to say to people who start Jojo, I wish you could just skip part 1, but you can't because it sets up Dio. And if you don't know who Dio is, you're gonna be confused for a lot of the show. I'll answer not questions but statements. I just want to go through how I feel about it. So part 1, it wasn't bad. It was just so painfully average. You thought it was 9 episodes? I don't know. I haven't done my research. And then part 2 comes around, and let me just say, my immediate hype for the show went up. We got someone way more interesting. We got Joseph, who is far, far more interesting than Jonathan, and it was just all around better. And at this point, in part 1 and 2, they were still using Hamon, Joseph. He sure does. And they were still using Hamon, which is an okay system, but I can understand why Araki moved to stands in part 3 and above. So let me guys know, how do you feel about part 2? Because I think it's one of the best parts in the show, just because it adds so much more flavor to it. Like, Jonathan was just like, I don't know. It was like a British breakfast. It was like beans and toast. That's what it was. Part 1 is beans and toast. And part 2, I don't know what part 2 was. It was just a whole just flavor. They brought out like a 4-course meal, part 2. British breakfast. It wasn't even British breakfast. It was just beans on toast. Everything after part 1, all just legendary, Ambu. Yeah, I would say. Everything after part 1 is just infinitely better. If you get through part 1 and you like part 2, I think you're in for if you get past part 3, you're definitely in for the long run. Do the questions have to pertain to Jojo, or can I ask some actually decent questions? Ask whatever you want, Smokey. I'll answer whatever. I don't really care, as long as it isn't like too personal and all that. I'll answer anything. I don't care. I say this is a mostly JoJo podcast because if you guys ask me questions that don't pertain to JoJo, I'll still answer it. But yeah, part 2 is great. I wish I can go into it, but no spoilers. The characters, let me just say. Wait, we're just saying. Oh, in part 2, there's something that happens. Y'all better not, say what happens. But a certain something happens that gave me like goosebumps when it did. That was like the one moment that I knew, like, oh, I think I like this show. Like, it really got me in. But you said part 1 was some coleslaw? Alright, controversial opinion, guys. I actually like coleslaw. If you get good coleslaw, it's actually good. I guess I said good twice. If you get coleslaw from someone who knows how to make it, it's good. Sure, nah, don't leave. Coleslaw's good, man. No. Come on. Speedwagon's the best boy. I don't know why people say that. Speedwagon is boring. The only thing he did was set up the Speedwagon foundation for the rest of the show, which is extremely important. Speedwagon sucks. Yeah, Ambu on my side now. Coleslaw slaps, but let's just act like it's shit. People love to shit on coleslaw, but it's good if you get like coleslaw that is actually good, because bad coleslaw is bad. Okay, moving on to, what is it? Part 2, then part 3, which is Stardust Crusaders. Part 3, Stardust Crusaders, sets up such like it's like the foundation for the rest of the show. And you bring up a great point. I wish I knew how to say your name, but I can't. I just can't. Anyway, yeah, that's the one thing. But before I get to the con of it being too long, let me just say it's great. It definitely sets up the foundation for the rest of the show because they introduce stands, and stands spice up the show to like, I don't know. As I said before, Hamon, it was good, but I could definitely see it get bland after a while. But stands, I mean, Araki's been writing stands into JoJo for part 3 through 8. So if you could do it for like 5 parts and still be creative with it, like, that's just an infinite amount of spice right there. That's like part 1 and 2 was like a white people seasoning their food, and then part 3 through 8 was like an Indian family seasoning their food, That's just how much like variety there is. Just flavor, just hits you. Anyway, I like part 3, but it is too long, as you said, however I say your name. It drags on way too much. How long is it? Like 70 episodes? And I'm pretty sure it's that long just because they want to explain the stands. Oh, I just hit my mic. Sorry, guys. But I'm pretty sure it's that long just because they want to explain the stands. 40 to 50 episodes. Okay, I might have overdone it. But yeah, it's still too long. I think it didn't need to be that long, to be honest, because after a while it did start to get bland. And let me just say, I don't know if anyone else has this opinion, but after watching this video on YouTube by Cosmonaut Variety Hour, because I don't want to steal his stuff, and he explains why he doesn't like JoJo. All the characters aren't actually that interesting in part 3. They all have one personality. They're not that interesting. And let's be honest, the stands aren't that interesting either after a while. You have, your name is Jaro Sapelli? Okay. You have Jojo stand, Star Platinum. What's his power? He can punch really fast. You have Avdol. What's his stand? He can shoot fire. You have Polnareff. What's his stand? He uses a sword. Not a sword. A rapier. You have Joseph. What's his stand? He can use vines. And that's Joseph's. I'm oversimplifying kids, but let's just say. Who's Iggy? Like, not who's Iggy, but Iggy's stand is he can control sand. Iggy's basically just a much worse version of Gaara. I hate Iggy with a passion. I wish he was never introduced into the show. Iggy sucks. Anyone that likes Iggy, I don't know what's wrong with you. He's not a good character. Who else am I missing? I said Jotaro, Polnareff. Oh, Kakyoin. What's Kakyoin stand? He can shoot rocks. He can shoot rocks, guys. You think that's interesting? He can shoot rocks? You guys want to come back every episode and see him shoot rocks? Yeah, because that's basically what part 3 is. I did just disrespect Iggy. He's not a good character, okay? Just because he has some fights where he redeemed himself doesn't make his whole character redeemable. He's still a little shithead, and his couple like redeeming fights does not make him a better character. Now, who said that? Wait, not said that, but someone asked me what my favorite stand was. Probably Tusk Act 4. I would say Golden Experience Requiem, but because it's directly tied to Giorno, and I don't find Giorno a very interesting character, yeah, I can't say that. So I think Tusk Act 4 is better. Ambu just asked, how did Iggy not grow on you towards the end? Okay, like I said, near the end, yeah, he had a couple redeeming fights. But just because he did what he did does not make, like, it did not change my feelings. First of all, let me just say, I never grow attached to any anime. Like, there are some people who, like, when they say they love a show, they love a show. Like, they will ride or die for it. I'm never that invested into a show. And that means I never get too invested into the characters. Like, people cry over anime. I don't. I've never cried over any anime. And I've seen like 90 something. So if I haven't cried yet, I don't think I am going to cry. So Iggy and his fights and, you know, what happened? No. You cried? Nah. I haven't. The only thing is that the only anime that I've maybe close to crying was Season 2 Tokyo Ghoul, A Silent Voice, I actually don't know what else, I'm not gonna lie. There's probably some other things. Whoa, Gyro, just make sure you don't spoil whatever the abilities are, okay? I can't speak. Spooky says, or Toasty says, Plastic Memories didn't make me cry. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it, so. Smokey, shut up. Listen, the ending of Tokyo Ghoul Season 2, you can't say it didn't hit different, okay? It hit different. Like, No. Listen, just, people say Season 2 wasn't that good, but the ending, you can't say it didn't make you feel something. Part 3 hit harder. What? Part 3 of Jojo? Or we talking about Season 3 of Tokyo Ghoul? Oh, Part 3 of Jojo. No, I thought it dragged on for way too long. The only thing I think was good about the beginning of Jojo was the beginning of it, where we got introduced to stands and all that. We introduced it and they started explaining it. And then we got to the middle part, which wasn't as good because it was way too dragged on. We already knew everyone's abilities. They just kept introducing new villains that I didn't care about because they only had like one episode appearances. We got to know nothing about them, so I was never invested. And then we got to the end of Jojo, Jojo Part 3. Way better than the middle part. I mean, like, it was definitely a good thing to end Part 3 on, because I don't want to say anything because I don't want to spoil anything, but it hits different. Just like Jojo Star Platinum. Okay. Drake says, like I said, part 3 is very stale halfway, extremely stale. I was really struggling to get through the halfway part of part 3. I almost considered skipping episodes, but nah, I didn't do that. Wait, let me get through this water real quick. Okay. Alright, so, part 4. Like Smokey said, part 4 is immaculate. It's my second favorite part, okay? Part 4, if like part 3 brought like a 3-course meal to the dinner table, part 4, it was like a 5-course meal with like a dessert at the end, okay? That's how good I think part 4 was. Part 3 was okay. I mean, it was good, but part 4 was just like mind-blowingly good. Like that's when I really started liking the show, because Josuke is an interesting character. First of all, everyone in part 4 is interesting. I love everyone in part 4. Like every character in there, you'll start to like, and because the plot of part 4 is focused around a small town with one main villain, and obviously, you know, there's like a couple like minor villains here and there, but it wasn't like part 3 where it was like there was a main villain in the end, but like they had to go through like 50 other small villains. In part 4, it was like the main cast of characters, a couple like minor villains, and then something happens to set up the main villain. And I think it's way more interesting. It's much like funnier. The cast of characters has way more personality, because like I said, part 3, no one really has a personality. They have like one character trait. Like Jotaro is the calm and collected one. Polnareff is like the coward sometimes, but he can be cool sometimes. I could say that about Kakyoin. Joseph is like the calm and collected one who makes the funny jokes every now and again. But no one really has Polnareff's shit. No, he's not. Come on, I like Polnareff. The only person I didn't like in part 3 in the main cast was Iggy. But yeah, everyone in part 4 has way more of personality. You got Josuke. He's great, you know, like, I'm bad at putting my feelings into words, how I feel about it. So it's going to sound like super basic, but Josuke was great. Okuyasu was great. Who else? Shigechi was great, okay? Best character in all the JoJo, let me just say. What's his name? Kuchi. What's his name? Koichi. Yeah. Koichi. Koichi's great. The villains that turned good, like the villains that turned from being a villain to being like the hero and part of the main cast, they're all great. All of them. And the fact that part 4 was just centralized in the small town of Morio, because in part 3, for anyone who hasn't seen it, and I should explain, they were moving around the entire like globe. They were going from country to country looking for the main villain. But in part 4, it's like you're in this small town. It's a murder mystery. It's great. I love it. Part 4, as Smokey said, immaculate. See, Smokey agrees. Shigechi is a god. He's literally the best character in JoJo, and I don't know how you could disagree. Really. I mean, come on now. Come on. I mean, there was someone on TikTok who said that like Jotaro in part 4, she gave him an 8 out of 10 as like an overall character. Guess what? Shigechi, also an 8 out of 10. Confirmed that Shigechi stand up to Jotaro. And that's facts, okay? That's facts. Anyway, if you don't like part 3, you're gonna like part 4. Then we have part 5, which is kind of boring, I'm not gonna lie. It's great, it's good, but it's not part 4. Wait, before I continue, Ambu, what do you want me to run back? Run what back? You said Shigechi equals Jotaro? Listen, I didn't say that. Someone on TikTok, because I fell into the Chinese trap of TikTok, let me just say. Someone said that part 4 Jotaro, she rated him an 8 out of 10. Then she rated Shigechi, who she also gave an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10. 8 equals 8, Ambu. So Shigechi equals Jotaro in terms of how good their character, how good their character is. Listen, I didn't say it, she did. I'm just speaking what she said, even though I agree with her. 8 equals 8, okay? We're moving on to part 5, which was way more, just, it was boring. Not boring, but it was kind of good, but it wasn't part 4. How do I explain it? Part 5 is good, but we're back to the same problem that part 3 had. Who really has a personality in part 5? Like, give me some character traits. Like, everyone has one character trait in part 5. No one's that interesting. Giorno sucks. Bruno, let me see. Giorno sucks. He's super basic, extremely. Mista sucks. Bruno. Everyone in part 5 kind of sucks as characters when it comes to how interesting they are. The only thing that people actually like about part 5 is that everyone in the main cast is hot. But once you get past, and everyone's also drippy. Let me just say, everyone in Jojo is drippy. But once you look past that, who's actually an interesting character? I mean, really think about it. Okay, yeah, they can carry, but does that make him an interesting character? Just because they do good in a fight, or, okay, maybe I was capping on Bruno. Bruno is actually pretty interesting. But okay, everyone else, let's be honest, everyone else, especially Fugo. Is it Fugo? I don't care. Tomato, really. But let's be honest, who actually has a personality? But beyond that, I just don't think it's that interesting. I read the manga because I didn't want to get spoiled on part 5, because that's when part 5 was finally being released. And I'm like, you know what? I should read the manga because I don't want to be spoiled, because you know how people love to spoil the show, like spoil shows. So I read the manga, and there were some cool moments, but it just didn't live up to part 4. What was one of the fights, Smokey? Because let me say, you said I'm acting like part 5 didn't have some of the most goated fights though. All right, give me some of the fights. Give me some. 7-page Muda. That was cool, but like it it was cool, all right? It was a throwback to Dio. But it wasn't, just because Giorno makes a throwback to his dad doesn't mean like it's good. I mean, it was a good fight though, I'm not gonna lie. Like, Jojo has a bunch of good fights. But I mean, if you want good fights, you could watch so many other things. Like, I'm not just there for the fights, I'm there for the characters and the plot and all that. Like, I'm not just there for fights. If I wanted to see just fights, I would just go like watch Dragon Ball, which I'm not gonna do. I'm not watching Dragon Ball Super. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about part 5. Like, I don't care about it that much. If you want to see or read a good fight, read part 7. Yeah. See, Ambu agrees. Dragon Ball is mid. Okay. Dragon Ball is mid. Don't even get me started on Dragon Ball, because it's like, I liked it, but it's literally the same thing over and over. Goku powers up. Once you've seen Dragon Ball Z, you've seen Dragon Ball Super. The only thing you need to know is that Goku powers up, like 5 more times. Naruto is mid too. I think Naruto would be better than mid if they stopped doing like all the flashbacks and like the filler and all that. If they just cut all the like fat out, not all the fat, but because like Naruto is like 40-something% filler. If they just cut that down, I think Naruto would be like way better. We said it hit different as a child, but once you expand the shows, you realize it's mid. Yeah, after watching shows that aren't just shonen and people fighting, you realize that like Dragon Ball, Naruto, like they're not as good as you thought they were. Food Wars is better than Naruto. Man, I just don't know if I can agree with that one. Food Wars is better than Naruto. It's good, okay. I never thought I'd be interested in a show about cooking food, but it's not better than Naruto, okay? Say something about One Piece, I will mislike you or dislike you. I haven't even started One Piece, so I have literally nothing to say about it, except I did get spoiled about a character's death. Someone new hopped into the server. They hopped into the chat channel. Like the very first thing they said was that character's death. I banned him. Okay? It literally says in the rules not to spoil. And usually if you say a spoiler, but I know you and you've been talking in the server, like, I don't know, I might mute you for a while. But if you hop in the server and the first thing you say is a spoiler, I'm banning you. I don't care. Anyway, I really want to get into One Piece, but man, yeah. I think after I watch, because I'm really close to finishing Code Geass. Smokey put me on Code Geass. Let me just say, if the ending, because I'm on like episode 21 or something, once I get like finished with it and it's as good as the rest of the show was, the ending, it might be in my top 5. I'm not gonna lie, it's just that good. But that's for a different episode. Yeah, I might just make that its whole, like a whole YouTube video about it. But anyway, I have no clue what I was talking about. What part are we on? Part 5. I have nothing more to say about part 5. Diavolo was a wasted villain. He didn't have enough screen time. That's what I have to say about him. Alright, on to part 6. Part 6 was weird. It was bizarre, as the title says, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Don't spoil anything about part 6. We're just talking about how I feel about it and how you guys feel about it without any spoilers. Anyway, part 6. Yeah, Abu. We're going into manga territory now. No spoilers, of course. But part 6, we're introduced to Jolene, which, let me just say, is actually a really good JoJo. She is a great character, and I love her very much. But I feel like around part 6, Araki didn't really know what to do with the series, because it was really weird. The stand started to get really weird. I can't explain it without going into spoilers, so it's like, this is why everything I say is like super basic and surface level commentary about it. But I think all the characters are great. Well, not all of them, but the villain is interesting. The characters are great. I really do like Jolene. And Smokey, I don't know if you guys care about this. I don't know, like, for everyone else in here. Yes, part 6 of JoJo. There is a guest appearance from the KKK. Yep, the KKK was in part 6. And they were in it because it was in Florida. Part 6 takes place in Florida. You know, Florida gang rise up. But yeah, I think it's good. It was really weird, and I could kind of tell that Rocky was running out of things to write. But then something happens at the end of part 6 that totally changes the series. You can't skip part 6 and move on to part 7 or 8 when it gets animated. Because if you skip part 6, you will have literally no idea what's going on. The ending of part 6 is so important to what happens later on that it's like, yeah. I'm sad you didn't bring up Notorious Big. Yeah, I mean, I am really bad at remembering names, and like names in general, like from music to whatever. So just remembering stand names, it's not gonna happen. Infamous Large, yeah. The ending of part 6 is actually trippy. Yeah, it's like, it's super surprising what happens at the end of part 6, because it's like you don't expect what's happens, and I think it's like a good ending to like the generic ending that Jojo has. And I'm not gonna elaborate on that because it would be a spoiler, but yeah. Wait, what, Gyro? You said you don't like part 6 at all? Wait, what? Explain. You gotta explain to me why you don't like part 6 at all. I can understand if you like disliked it, a lot or a bit, but like at all? Like, is there nothing to like about part 6 for you? You gotta give me something, because as weird as part 6 was, and it wasn't the most enjoyable experience, I don't think it was that bad. Like, thinking back on it now, I think I had like a worse time when I was initially reading through it, but like thinking back on it, it wasn't that bad. Alright, Gyro says the concept wasn't good. The only good thing for me is when you can have more stands. Interesting. Okay. So now I understand why you don't like it, but that's okay. Everyone can have their own opinion. Now, I miss Feet Guy from part 4. Feet Guy? Who are you talking about? Smokey, who? Highway? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Highway Stand, where just like the wet like flops against the ground. Yeah, that man definitely had a foot fetish, like 100%. Anyway, we're moving on to part 7. My favorite part 7. Like, if you thought part 4 was immaculate, Smokey, just wait till you get to part 7. It's like perfection. I'm not gonna say much, but the main characters, because there's not just one main character. Johnny Joestar and Gyro, they are such like a good duo. It's like crazy. I can't even explain how I feel about it because it's that good. Like, when you read it, it changes Jojo, okay? Everything about it. Yeah, and they're still standing. Well, I can't say that. This is really hard to explain something without spoiling it, But all I can say is just read part 7 if you're into manga. Smokey says that animated in 12 years. Okay, people were getting mad at who makes JoJo? David Productions, right? The studio. They were getting mad at them for not like quickly making part 6, but like when you look at it, how long was the break between part 5 and 6? It was like 2-3 years, and honestly, that's not that long. I mean, Attack on Titan fans had to wait way longer from season 1 to 2, so I don't really know why people are complaining. I'm not gonna lie. Jaro, make sure you don't spoil anything, okay? To be fair, I totally get the wait time because part 5 looks pristine. Yes, it does. And if you want the same quality for part 6, give them a couple years, okay? It's not easy to animate it. But yeah, the wait time wasn't that long. Not as bad as what Attack on Titan fans had to wait for. And then part 8. I'm just going to move on to part 7 because all I can say about it is that everything is great. Read it if you're into manga. Yeah. Part 8, I'm not caught up. I'm like tons of chapters behind. But so far it's good. It's not as good as part 7. To the point where I have gone up to in part 8, it hasn't established a main villain yet. So it's kind of wishy-washy on where they're going with the story. Like, I don't really know where they're going. But I heard like now they established a main villain. But to the point where I got up to, they haven't. But yeah, part 8's also good. Trick says I stopped reading part 8 around 20 chapters. Yeah, it is a little weird because like it feels like they don't really know where they're going with the story. It just kind of feels like they're going with the wind. But everything starts to get more established. Okay. Trick says, isn't David Productions working on Fire Force anyway? I'm pretty sure they are. Hot take. I watched like 4 or 5 episodes of Fire Force and I dropped it. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I'm like, it's okay. It's just, yeah, I don't feel anything special about it. Ambu, yeah, go ahead and type what you're gonna type. Okay, oh, I thought you were gonna like bash me for dropping it. Like, I don't know what it is about the show. It's a good show. Oh, but you picked it back up? Okay. I'll pick it back up. But like, it's a good show. It just, I don't know. Generic, I guess. It felt generic. That's not a hot take. You're just wrong. That's a smoky. Okay. I'll pick it back up. But, yeah. I'll watch it, guys. I'll watch it. Because Kamari says it's good and he's on season 2. I'm talking about season 2. Because I think we're done talking about Jojo. Actually, no, we're not. One more thing before we hop off of Jojo. We need to talk about the fandom of Jojo. My God, they are toxic. And because I've been on TikTok, they are horny. Okay? Like, detrimentally horny. Like, they are menaces to society. We need to keep them locked up. Okay? Because basically what TikTok is for, just like, I almost hate coming across a JoJo post on TikTok. Because it's either really good art, which I like. I love art. Or it's girls simping over the characters of JoJo. And it's like, it's one or the other. There's no in between. Or actually, no, there's like the same jokes that you see over and over again. Like, I do not like the JoJo fandom. It is, because when I started watching JoJo, I was like, people knew about it, but they weren't really talking about it. And then when I got to like part 4, people started talking about it. Like, it got to the point where like everyone knew about it. And that's when the people started showing up, where it was like, the people that showed up were like, you need to watch JoJo. You need to watch JoJo. Oh, you don't like JoJo? Oh, well, you're just like a basic anime watcher. It's like they will force you to watch JoJo. If you recommend any anime, like if you ask for any anime recommendations, watch JoJo. Watch JoJo. It's like really good. And if you have any opinion about JoJo, it's like you will get bashed for it. If you don't like the art style, you're gonna get bashed for it. Okay, you can't have an opinion on JoJo. That's just how I feel. So I don't really say anything about it. But yeah, that's the fandom. It's either the same people saying the same jokes over and over. People that will just kill for anyone to watch JoJo. They will force people to watch it, or just like horny people on TikTok. Just saying how much they want a character to rail them, which I find really annoying. Let me see what you guys said. The TikTok Haikyuu stands. Oh my God, don't even get me started. Haikyuu isn't bad. It isn't. I watched like 21 episodes of it, season 1. But it's not Kuroko's basketball, okay? That's all I gotta say. I don't even watch basketball, okay? I'm not even into sports like that. But Kuroko's basketball has such like energy that like it's almost like you can't stop watching it, okay? Because it gets to the point of like it is ridiculous how good they get. It's like it's not even human. They aren't playing basketball at that point. They unlock Ultra Instinct later on in the show, and it's amazing because it gets like ridiculous. And Haikyuu, it's like it's good, but I feel like I don't know any Haikyuu fan that actually likes the show because of the story or the volleyball matches. It's literally just them simping over the characters and how good they look. And it's, I can't, okay? Like, I don't just watch a show because the character looks good. I need it to have some substance. And I'm not saying Haikyuu doesn't have substance. I just thought it personally wasn't for me. I thought it was a little boring. But, yeah, like every Haikyuu stan I see in the server, it's like they're always simping over a character. They're never discussing an episode or how great something was. It's always, man, I really want to see this one character in a maid outfit or something like that. It's always something like that, and it's like, okay, guys, I kind of don't want to watch Haikyuu now. Trick said my first mistake was getting on TikTok. Listen, okay, I was getting bored with Instagram. It was the same memes over and over, and I'm like, okay, let me just install the Chinese spyware and let me see what's on it. If I don't like it, I'll delete it. And I like it a lot because there's a lot of creativity on there. It's not just what you guys think it is. It's not just people dancing and being cringe. There's some funny shit on there. The personalities are good though. From what I've seen, yeah, it's good. I might pick it up, but I dropped it and I started watching Code Geass, which I think is infinitely more interesting. Thank you, Smokey, for putting me on Code Geass. I have yet to finish it, but I have like 3 more episodes. It's fucking amazing. Oh, the only thing I don't like about it is the second opening. The second opening of Code Geass sucks, but that's it. Smokey says, yeah, people should just listen to me all the time. Sure, we'll just say that. I mean, you are sheriff, so. Let me get a swig of this water. I've been talking for like 40 minutes now. Let me check what I have on my notes. Okay, so. I kind of wanted to bring up the topic of Netflix anime. How do you guys feel about Netflix anime? Excuse me. Just a lot of phlegm in the back of my throat today. Gyro says it's bad. I'm going to give my hot take on it when... Okay, Ambu says Netflix has been taking dubs. I would agree on that. Netflix originals. It doesn't even have to be Netflix originals. It can be Netflix original anime. It could be just anime that Netflix has finally put on to their, their platform. Smokey, I'm not discussing cuties because I do not embody the ghost of Jeffrey Epstein or Jared from Subway. I don't have that energy. Coward. Okay, they do. Okay, Gyro, just because Netflix does like live action adaptations doesn't make it bad. The adaptations are bad, but that doesn't mean the whole platform isn't valid because they do live action adaptations. We're not going to talk about the Death Note live action adaptation because there's nothing I can say about it that hasn't already been said. But my take on it is that it's getting way better. Like, I love that Netflix has put in more anime on their platform because it's so convenient for me. Because, like if I want to watch anime, I don't want to sit down on my PC and load up like my anime site, which is anywatch.me, and watch it in this like uncomfortable chair that I have. Sometimes I just want to lay in my bed, boot up Netflix, and just watch anime. Netflix, so far, they're on a good path. Like, they've been putting more and more anime on there, and I think they're doing good. I use anywatch.com, and it's way better than Netflix. Sure, but like, I don't care how good a site is. Like, I just want to watch my show. And if Netflix has the show I want to watch, great. I'll watch it on Netflix. I don't care if I have like the PC in front of me and I can just load up the site right there and then. I'll boot up my PS4 and put on Netflix because it's just convenient for me. But yeah, anime's doing way better when it comes to, did I say anime? Netflix has been doing way better when it comes to putting shows on their platform because it used to be super basic, like every show that they've put on there I've already seen. But now it's like, okay, I haven't seen this show and I haven't seen this show. And a lot of it is just like classic shows that I feel like everyone should watch, but I was too busy watching High School DxD and Handshakers, so. Can we talk about Black Clover? You can. I'm not. I haven't watched it. Because I am not interested. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, overall opinion on Netflix anime, they've been getting better. They've been catching dubs, just like Ambu said. I like it. Talk about Black Clover. Is Black Clover even good? Like, can we just say that first? Is Black Clover good? Because if it's good, I'll watch it. But for me to watch it, that means I have to go through like the first season of Asta Screaming for 12 episodes, 24 episodes. I don't know. Because I'm not really interested in that. I'm not going to lie. Of watching Asta. It gets good after the first 200 episodes. Trust me, bro. One Piece gets good after the 8th arc. Please, you got to watch it. But yeah, I'm not really interested in watching Black Clover unless someone convinces me that it is actually good. I mean, you don't have to convince me. At some point, I will watch it because I am bored while in quarantine. Gyro says he's at the newest arc of One Piece. Is he good? I mean, it better be good, because people, they're always on One Piece, saying it's one of the best shonens of all time. The best arc yet? That's a bold claim. Alright, let me see what else I have on my notes. I'm going to be talking about upcoming anime now. Actually, before I do that, Smokey, they put Sword Art Online Alicization on Netflix, so I can finally watch it now and see what you're talking about. Because you're saying it's good, and I kind of want to refuse to believe that anything with Sword Art is good, except season 1. Season 1's actually it's good. Oh, and alternate Sword Art Online, where it's not focused around Kirito or Asuna at all, and it's a whole different cast of characters. That's good. But I will watch Alicization. Gyro just says Alicization kills the vibes. Listen, Sword Art Online already had bad vibes to begin with. If Alicization is bad, it just adds to the bad vibes. If it's good, good. Because I'm not really expecting much from Sword Art Online in general. They're making a reboot of the Aincrad arc, by the way, with Let's Focus on Kirito. Lit. I feel like it isn't just Kirito, though. Like, because just the writing in Sword Art just isn't that great in general. Anyway, I'm going to be talking about upcoming anime, unless you guys have any new takes on Sword Art that hasn't already been said. Because I feel like the community of Sword Art, it's very divided. People say you either hate it because you hate it just to hate it, or you love it. And there's like no in between. So if there's any like hot takes about Sword Art, I'm moving on to upcoming anime, because there is a lot. And then after that, I have no more in my anime section unless you guys want to talk about it, and then I'm moving on to the gaming section. Black Clover, you should watch it. It is funny. I'm gonna stop you right there. I don't find a lot of anime funny. Even shows where it's just meant for comedy, I don't find funny. Psyche K, kind of funny. The most it got out of me was like a chuckle and like some air out of my nose. Hinamatsuri, it was funny. The most it got was like air out of my nose. I just don't find like anime humor that funny. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. The only show that had me like crying laughing, the only show, was Space Dandy. And watching that in dub is like amazing. It's literally my number 2 anime of all time. Because, I mean, I already talked about this in the first episode, so I'm not going to repeat. But it's amazing. The only show that's actually had me crying laughing. Anyway, moving on to the upcoming anime. We're getting the final season of Attack on Titan on December 7th. How do you guys feel about Attack on Titan? Because it's also in my top 5. Attack on Titan is probably one of the best shows I've ever seen. And the Levi chase scene really solidified that fact. Can't talk about final season without spoiling it. We're not going to talk about the final season. Gyro, you have a lot of hot takes. I haven't watched and will never watch Attack on Titan. Please explain why. And if you say it's bad, I swear if you say it's bad, I don't know what's going to happen. I might just have to stop you from typing in here. Attack on Titan is one of the most goated shows of all time. First season of Attack on Titan can be argued. Okay, first season of Attack on Titan can be argued. It's pretty mid. Eren as a main character was mid. Super one-dimensional. He had no character. The only thing he was about was just killing Titans and blah blah blah. I can see that. But everything after first season was amazing. Okay, Gyro, you said I tried to watch it and I didn't like any of it. Is there any like aspect that you didn't like? Like what part of it did you not like? Or is it just a feeling you got? Is there no reason? Or do you have a reason? It's just everything? Man, I don't know what to tell you then. Is it the gore aspect of it? Like, do you not like Titans eating people? Smokey's right. That's not an argument. Everything? You can say everything, but it's like you gotta dissect. I mean, I guess it is kind of hard to say in a text channel. I feel like an argument would be more appropriate if you can actually say it. So I'm not expecting like super like detailed essay on why you don't like it, but you gotta give me a little something, like a crumb of why you don't like it, because it's amazing. I'm not telling you have to like it. I just want to know why you don't like it. If it was good, oh my gosh, if it was good, it would have gotten me into it. No. Because now you're saying it's bad, and if it was good, you would have gotten into it. That's like saying that your anime taste is better than everyone else's that enjoys Attack on Titan now. So I just can't agree with these hot takes, man. I just can't agree. Like, I could agree that like season 1 is mid, but everything after that is like, yes. These are some like controversial takes. Man, I would go to prison. All right, I'm moving on because Gyro, you're smoking something. I want whatever you're on. Gyro says I would go to prison instead of watching Attack on Titan. I want whatever you're on, because I'm just gonna move on. All right, then we have Demon Slayer: The Mugen Train movie, October 16th. Who's waiting for the Demon Slayer movie? Because Demon Slayer is mid. Demon Slayer, it's good, but it did not deserve anime of 2019, the best anime of 2019. I don't even know every anime that came out during that year, and I already know that it didn't deserve best anime of the year. Mugen Train arc was ass, not gonna lie. Well, don't spoil anything, Trig, because, you know, I don't read the manga. But, I mean, I heard in general that the manga of Demon Slayer just isn't that good in general. Especially the ending. People that, like, read the ending of Demon Slayer, they're like, it's bad. Like, there's nothing good about the ending of Demon Slayer. So, I'm kind of disappointed in that, but I'm also kind of excited to see how, like, spectacularly bad it can get. Because if it's bad, I'm going to laugh. And Trig, you just said it was bad? Man. Oh, this is going to be great. Smokey says, I only watched the Demon Slayer anime, and I saw literally nothing special about it. Listen, people like it because it has good animation. That's really the only reason. It's good. The animation is good, but there's nothing that special about it. I can agree with that. There's nothing, like, yeah. I mean, that one episode with, like, the really good... No. Well, let me finish what I was going to say. The one episode with the really good animation with the fight between Tanjiro and... I forget what the villain's name was. That was pretty lit. And then Trig says he has a friend that says it's better than Attack on Titan. Trig, your friend, he has to be a new anime watcher. Like, he must have just gotten into the scene. Because there's no one on earth that would say, he's not though? Oh my God. There's no one on earth that would say Demon Slayer is better than Attack on Titan. How can you watch the Levi chase scene and say that Demon Slayer is better than Attack on Titan? You can't. The Levi chase scene is better than anything you're getting in Demon Slayer. And Gyro, I don't want to say this, but I don't think your opinion matters. Listen, I'm not trying to sound like an ass, but you said Attack on Titan just sucks in general. Demon Slayer is just not better. It's just not. It's not. Sorry, I'm sorry. I don't want to be an ass. But it's not. And Smokey, I didn't forget about the anime Twitter bracket. Whatever they voted on there, it's just so bad. Listen, people only voted for Demon Slayer because what's that thing called? Where like something new just comes out and it's exciting, so people vote for that instead of anything else. Because Demon Slayer got like, simply it's just hype over a new show. Because like, let's say a really good show came out in January. Let's say this like Twitter bracket was formed in like March. A new like really good show could come out in January, and a good show could come out in March. They're gonna vote for the show that came out in March because it's the new thing, you know. I don't really know how to explain it, but because it's the like fresh and new thing, that's what they're gonna vote for, and I'm pretty sure that's why Demon Slayer got like anime of the year. And I just don't agree with that at all. The Promised Neverland, Vinland Saga were robbed. I didn't actually watch the Vinland Saga anime. I read the manga, and I haven't read it recently. But I can tell just by like watching the like 2-3 episodes they did of Vinland Saga. Yeah, it was robbed. It's like really good. If any of you in here haven't seen Vinland Saga, please watch it if you're into like action and all that. I don't know what you guys are into. And The Promised Neverland, also excellent. I read the manga. It's really good. Yes. Okay, Smokey brings up a great topic. Let's talk about how the My Hero Academia manga is goated right now. I'm not caught up to it. I'm like a ton of chapters behind, so don't say anything. But people who hate on My Hero, I actually don't understand why. My Hero has been good from the beginning, except maybe like season 1, maybe where Deku was always crying and blah blah blah. But everything after that is amazing. You can't not. Well, I'm not gonna say that's a bold claim. But My Hero is really good, and the manga is goated. Okay, and Smokey would know because Smokey. You're caught up to the manga, right? I'm pretty sure you are. But I've seen like glimpses of. I've seen glimpses of the manga. Obviously, not trying to spoil myself, but it's excellent. It's really good. Once it gets like animated, you guys are gonna see. Trick says people would be hating on My Hero but praise Demon Slayer. Exactly. My Hero, it's like it's gonna be the new. Do you guys think My Hero is gonna be the new big three? Because I don't think. Like, do we have an established new big three? Because I don't think we do. No, we don't. Yeah, we don't have a newly established new big three. Because, you know, the old big three was what, like Naruto, Dragon Ball, and Bleach. Naruto, One Piece. You see, okay, I don't know if I want to put One Piece in the big three. I know I could. Okay, yeah, we're going to say Naruto. What? You know, on the big three, you have to have Dragon Ball up there, right? You can't have a big three without Dragon Ball. So it'd have to be like Dragon Ball, Naruto. I think the only two contested spots would be One Piece and Bleach. That's like the only two things I can see like clashing with each other. So you can't throw out Naruto. It's a definite big three. Like, if you're saying that Dragon Ball and Naruto aren't on the big three 100% for sure, like, they have solidified their spot on the big three. Like, the only two shows that I think, like I said, like clash with each other are Bleach and One Piece, because I can never really say which one deserved to be on there. But let's just say it's One Piece. So Naruto, Dragon Ball, big three. And DK says the anime industry has outgrown the big three. You know, is that true though? Like, oh yeah, I mean, it has become way more mainstream, so it's hard for a show to like really outshine the others. Obviously, there's like really good shows that like stand above the rest, but I don't think any show can get to the level and pure like, because everyone knew about Dragon Ball Z. It was just like universally known what Dragon Ball Z was. Even people who have never heard of anime, like white middle-aged soccer moms that never heard of anime, knew Goku's name. So I don't think we're at that point anymore where there is like a big three, and there might never be another big three. So yeah, I guess you're right. Smokey says the only thing holding back My Hero is its is its gay fan base. Man, I'm not even gonna get into that. can we just all agree that every like fandom of any show has its like toxic? Like, I don't think there's any good fan base that isn't toxic. There is no toxic free fan base or fandom or whatever you want to call it. Jaro says your first and favorite anime was One Piece, or is okay. Your first anime was One Piece. Your favorite anime is One Piece. That's a pretty tall order right there. Watching what, like 900 something episodes of One Piece, or maybe like 800 something when you first started. That's a lot. Anyone that like can start One Piece as their first, I don't even know. I don't know how. I'm not gonna lie. Smokey says, but my hero MFers are wild, and you're right. They're definitely more toxic than others. But if we were to put it against the Jojo fan base, who would be more toxic? You know, the battle of the toxicity, who wins? The Hunter x Hunter fan base, don't get me started. I'm a fan of Hunter x Hunter. As you guys should know, I've rewatched it 3 times. And I haven't seen like too much toxicity in Hunter x Hunter, except like the people that think they're just like better than other people. That's like, oh man, we can understand the complexity behind Gon's character and just why he did this and that, and we're so much better. We have the biggest brain of everyone because we can understand the niches and the complexities behind everything. But Trick says the best arc is York New arc. I honestly can't decide if the York New arc or the Chimera Ant arc is the best, because I really like both. But if I just had to say like a definite answer, I would go Chimera Ant arc number 1, York New, yeah. And then for the other arcs, I would have to actually give a little more thought into it. So you want about the Great Island arc, the dodgeball game was the go. Okay, after rewatching the show 3 times, once by myself, the second time I watched it by myself because I just really want to rewatch the show, and the third time I watched it with my little brother. Like, the Great Island arc, the Game Island arc, isn't that bad. It's like, it's not bad. And I've learned to appreciate it after the 3rd watch. So yeah. Jaro says the NGL arc is better. You talk about the Chimera Ant arc? Because I don't know anyone that talks who says the NGL arc. Alright. God, there's still so much I want to talk about, and I feel like I haven't gotten anywhere on these notes. Let me see. You guys excited for the last season of Food Wars? Because that's coming out. If it's not already out. Let me see. I think it's already out. I didn't put it on my show notes on if it's out or not. But yeah. Trick says you haven't seen Food Wars. It's actually pretty decent. I would watch it. Smokey says more excited for High School DxD Season 5. Yeah, you know what? As much crap as I give High School DxD, there were some moments that I like genuinely hated. But overall, I did enjoy watching the show. It's not that bad. It's like a guilty pleasure. Jaro says you've seen seasons 1 through 5 of Food Wars. And season 5 was the last season. So how'd you feel about it? Like, did Food Wars end on a good note? Was it bad? Like, how'd it end? Because I dropped it around like season 3 or 4. Well, I was reading the manga, so I don't even know what season I stopped. Like, I don't know which season that would be at the part where I stopped at. And you say it's really good. I should watch it. I probably will, but not now. Gotta finish the Code Geass, then I'm watching Soul Eater, and then I want to do something in the server where I watch all of One Piece in a voice channel, and I stream every single episode. I don't even know if I'm gonna do that, but that's what I'm gonna do. Let me see. Okay. Then we have The Promised Neverland Season 2 coming out January 2021. And I'm really excited for The Promised Neverland. If you guys haven't seen it, please watch it. It's really good. I read the manga. I would know. It definitely takes a more interesting direction than that I really wasn't expecting. It becomes less. Yeah, okay, DK, you kind of like. I agree. The arcs after the first one, they're kind of, like, I really like the horror aspects of season 1 of The Promised Neverland, and that's what like motivated me to like read the manga after that. And it doesn't really lose, like, it loses that like horror aspects, and like Trig just said, they lose like that touch of mystery. Like, I think that's what like really kept me intrigued about the show, and they kind of lose that like a lot, and it becomes more like survival horror, and I wouldn't really even say horror because it isn't that scary. But I don't know if I'm the right person to say that because I don't really find a lot of things scary. DK says they pay too much attention to Emma and don't develop Ray. I would agree. Emma gets a lot of character development, and the other characters don't get that much. Smokey says, yeah, it didn't seem like the kind of show that needs to keep going once they pass the walls. Yeah. I mean, there's still like a touch of mystery in it about like why things are in that world, but it's just not as interesting in my opinion. It's still good. It's just not what it was. Trig, the ending was question. Wait. The Promised Neverland, it ended, because I have not caught up to that point in the manga if it did end. Because I have not read any manga in so long. The manga ended? Okay. Well, in that case, I should really, really catch up and finish it. Because I'm reading like 20 manga right now, and I haven't read any in about like a year, maybe. So I have a lot of chapters to catch up on. Alright, moving on, we have the My Hero Academia Season 5 coming out of spring 2021. I don't even think I need to say anything. It's good. Be excited for it. Gyro says you're gonna watch One Piece. Alright, see you later, Gyro. Not One Piece, I meant Black Clover. Season 5 is going to be fire. Yeah, Season 5 is going to be like really, really good. What part did because I didn't watch the Season 4. I didn't watch the Season 4 for My Hero. So where did Season 4 like end off at? Because I have no clue. Without spoiling it, of course. Because once I know where Season 4 left off at, I can figure out where Season 5 is going to pick up at. It ends with Endeavor's fight with okay, I know. Okay, so in that case, yeah, Season 5 is going to be heat. Like, everything after that is like really good. I don't think there's any like bad arc in My Hero. Except, well, the fight with that one guy with the when they were rescuing that girl. I heard people say that fight was kind of mid, but everything after that is really good. So just be excited for that. Let me see. And then we have... Wait, talking about Chisaki? Yeah, I'm talking about Chisaki. I forget his name. Like I said, I'm terrible with names, so I'm leaving it up to you guys to help me pick up on my shortcomings. And then we have the animation was mid, sure. Yeah. I mean, that's what people said. I don't actually have my own opinion on it. I'm just saying what other people said. Alright. Done with My Hero. We're moving on to Jujutsu Kaisen. And I read a bit of the manga, and I think the first episode is already out. If you have not seen it, go see it. It's really good. I haven't seen the first episode yet, but after this podcast, I'm probably going to watch it after like a nap. So, actually no, I have to finish Code Geass, then I'm going to watch the first episode. Because it's going to be good. I had a friend who told me to start reading it. Yeah. I haven't dropped it. It's just I haven't, read anything in a while. And Jujutsu Kaisen's like one of the things that I'm reading. It's excellent. Okay. Jujutsu Kaisen. And then we have Noblesse. I don't know how to say it. But I think it's like a webtoon or something. Like a God of High School type of situation. And Tower of God. And let me just say, Tower God, super mid. I don't care what people say. I will argue anyone that is a Tower God fan because I would love to explain why I don't like the show. DK's typing something. Let's see. Is it a webcomic, webtoon? I don't know. What's the difference? But I know that's coming out as an anime. I have no clue what it's about. I think it's like a vampire or something or another. I don't know. Webtoons are trash. Can't change my mind on that. Isn't Solo Leveling a webtoon? Like, Solo Leveling is like one of the, I think like only webtoons, because I think it is one that I actually like. So like, everyone's picking up these other webtoons. We need a Solo Leveling anime. That's what we need. It is amazing. It's like, it's pretty generic, but yeah. For the new anime season, well, DK says, for the new anime season, there's this one called Moriarty the Patriot, and it's fire. It starts Saturday, and there's already a special preview, basically a non-canon first episode out. I'm going to pin that because I'm not going to remember to watch it. Yes, Moriarty the Patriot. Alright, any more hot takes on anime? Because I am about to go over to the gaming section of the podcast. Because if you guys want to keep on talking about anime, I will. But if not, I'm moving on to the gaming section. And there's lots to talk about since the last podcast. But I'm going to speed through it. Trig, I saw you typing, so I'll wait. Berserk needs a good anime adaptation. Before I get into that, let me get a swig of water. Okay, Berserk, also one of the mangas I'm reading. It is god tier. It is amazing. And the fact that it hasn't gotten a good anime adaptation is extremely disappointing because it deserves it. I don't know why they just can't get it right, because I'm pretty sure they've already tried adapting it twice into an anime, and both times it just went wrong. And it's just disappointing, you know? It's like, there's this one scene in Overlord, and Smokey knows what I'm talking about, where there's like this goblin army, and it's all in CGI. And I don't really mind CGI, because the CGI in Beastars is good. But the CGI they use for this is terrible, and that's what like all of Berserk reminds me of. This really, really bad CGI. And I refuse to watch it because I don't want to get like a bad taste in my mouth about Berserk because it's so good. Okay, I think we're done talking about anime. We're going into the gaming section of the podcast now. All right. Since I can't speak. Since the last podcast, the PS5 reveal event happened. And let me just say, I couldn't be happier. I don't know what I was expecting the price to be on the PS5, but it got revealed. It's $500 and $400 for the digital version. And honestly, I'm pretty surprised at those prices, considering with coronavirus shutting everything down, I'm surprised they kept the price that low, but I guess it's understandable if you actually want the consumer to buy your products. So, kind of surprised, kind of not. It's like 50-50. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm definitely not going to get one as soon as it comes out. Trig says, what the fuck is the digital version? Okay, so the digital version is basically the PS5, but you get like, there's no like disc insert thing. So you don't, if you're into like physical copies of video games, there is no like disc insertion. So it's literally just like digital downloads for the digital version of the PS5. So you have to like, download everything from the PlayStation Store and all of that. So that's what it is. The only thing I'm extremely disappointed about is that it only has, it only has 825 gigabytes worth of space, which is extremely disappointing because the PS4, when it came out, had 500 gigabytes, and the fact that they only upgraded it with 325 more is terrible. At minimum, they needed 1 terabyte of space at least, and they couldn't deliver on that, which is extremely disappointing because, with games looking better. Wait, Ambi says what we're talking about now? I'm talking about the PS5 reveal event, which, happened a while ago, but since the last podcast, I want to discuss it now because this is how I feel about it, and just, discussing the games that they said would be coming out and all that. But the fact that it's not like 1 terabyte is beyond disappointing. Smokey says, I'm keeping it real with you. Xbox is kind of winning this one. I don't really have an opinion on Xbox. The only thing I know is that it's the Series X is going to be $500, and what I heard, the Series S is going to be $300. But can I say something real quick about just the Xbox naming conventions? Can we fix it? Because it's really confusing to know which Xbox is coming out. You got the Xbox One, the Xbox One X, you got the Xbox Series X, and then you have the Xbox Series S. Personally, I'm not that confused on it, but these kids out here who are going to be expecting their mom and dad to buy them the new Xbox, they're going to get confused between the Xbox Series X and the Xbox One X. We need to fix these naming conventions. They're gonna get confused. They're gonna get confused. That's all I'm gonna say. Their kid's gonna be real disappointed on Christmas Day when they wake up. They know that they got the Xbox, but it turns out to be the Xbox One X and not the Xbox Series X. Now the X is the more powerful one. Which X are we talking about? The Xbox One X or the Xbox Series X? S is cheaper. Yeah, I know the S is the cheaper alternative, but I know the Series X is the more powerful one. Corbin might need to talk to Star Plaid about the PS5. It's definitely not I'm not copping the PS5 as soon as it comes out, because you know how Sony and Microsoft love to do their things. They love to release their console, and then a year later they release a more powerful version of it. So that's just fun. Listen, their Series S runs at 120 frames per second at 1440p for $300. I'm not gonna believe it until I see it. I need a graphically intensive game. I need it to run a graphically intensive game. If there's a demo trailer of them running a super intense game with a solid 120 frames and 1440, I'll believe it. And I'm the same. I'm not copping anything for a while because I built my PC a while ago. So yeah, I don't need the PS5, but I would like to play with my friends who will eventually upgrade. And the only reason I'm still a PS4 player is because my dumbass did not buy a hard drive for my PC, so I only have 200 gigabytes on it. So I need to buy an external hard drive so I can get a couple terabytes. So I'm dumb for not doing that, but it is what it is. I'm gonna wait at least Trick says he's gonna wait at least a year to get the PS5. I agree, at least a year, and we'll see what happens. Let me see. So a ton of games got announced for the PS5 that are gonna be coming out, and I'm excited for it. I only chose the few that I'm excited for it, but there's way more than this. All right, so for the first one, we have Spider-Man Miles Morales. I'm excited for this one. I played Spider-Man on the PS4. They kind of messed up Miles Morales' hairline, but in the trailer, he got a crisp cut, crisp fade, all right? They fixed my boy up, and I'm excited for that, okay? And, listen, he had Timbs on. He had Timbs, okay? A real New Yorker. Anyway. I'm just excited about this. I don't really have anything to say. But I'm excited for it. I want to play it because Spider-Man on the PS4 was excellent. Though I don't think it was good enough for me to replay through it because, yeah. And then we have the Demon Souls remake. Demon Souls is the one Souls game that I have not played yet. I've played Dark Souls 1. I've played Dark Souls 2. I've played Dark Souls 3. I've played Bloodborne. I've played every like mainstream Souls-like game. But I have yet to play Demon Souls. Once I get Demon Souls, it's over. I have the entire collection. I have all the Infinity Stones, okay? I can truly say I've beaten the entire Souls series, and I'm happy about that. Because Demon Souls looks amazing. Amazing. I don't know how many of you guys even care about Demon Souls, I'm not gonna lie. I'm just personally excited because my friends and I, we played Dark Souls 2 and 3 together like a little bit ago. And it was so much fun. Now not obviously, but I like to play Souls games by myself, and then on like my second playthrough and all that, I like to play with my friends because I want to experience it for myself and then have my friends do it. Trick says, you don't know if I could play a Souls game, the rage would be real. Yeah. I know what you mean, but like, I started with Dark Souls 2 first, and I would say, personally, it's probably the hardest out of the 3 Dark Souls. Dark Souls 3 is the easiest, but the way I played the Souls series, I went from 2 to 1 to 3. I've gotten like frustrated at the game, but I've never like raged quit. The only time I ever like actually felt like physically just like hit something was like I was fighting Ornstein and Smo in Dark Souls 1, and Smo just needed one more hit and I would have beat the boss, but he ground pounded me and I died. And I don't know how I didn't break my controller because I gave it a real hard squeeze and I felt it like creaking. But I didn't throw it. I didn't punch anything. But that was the one time I got like actually mad at the game. Okay. Smokey says, you gotta remember that Xbox makes up like 5 to 10% of Microsoft's total sales. They can afford to go fast and loose with their console. That's why they're offering upgraded Xbox One games to the master versions of the Xbox Series X at no extra charge. I mean, that's true. Like, we can't forget that these are big corporations making these consoles. Like, they're probably not making up most of their revenue. Like Sony, if a certain generation of PlayStation doesn't do well, or if a certain like generation of Xbox doesn't do well, I wouldn't be surprised if these companies just like cut their losses and got rid of them, because it does make 5 to 10% of their total sales, which is a bit, but it's not the majority. They cut their losses. And what do you mean they can go fast and loose with their console? Oh wow, Smokey's typing this out. Can we say that the console wars have ended? Like, I don't actually see anyone talking about the console wars like that anymore. It used to be really big back then, but nowadays, I think we've all come to a mutual agreement that we should just leave each other alone and just stop fighting, because it's dumb. The console war is dumb. Alright, Smokey says, I mean that the Xbox is more consumer friendly with backwards and forward compatibility now. I would agree. I don't know why it took PlayStation so long to add backwards compatibility. And I'm pretty sure every Xbox game is like backwards compatible, right? Because I'm pretty sure with like the PS5, only a few games are going to be backwards compatible. It's not going to be like the entire catalog of games that they've released. Like, I don't think you're going to be able to play like a PS2 game on the PS5 or something like that. But Xbox can, because I think that's going to be the case, which is disappointing because hopefully the PS5 is going to be backwards compatible with the PS3, because there's a couple PS3 games that I would love to play again. All of your games on your one, you can play on the... Yeah, okay. So, I don't know if Xbox is winning. We'll see how this goes, because as we've seen time and time again, PS2 won, then the Xbox won that year, and then the PS5 won, at least in my opinion, I think it won. And then, maybe this year, if, we keep up the trend, Xbox might win this year. All right, no, what else do I want to talk about? Oh yeah, I haven't even finished all the games that I'm excited for. Resident Evil Village. Not a huge Resident Evil fan, but I am a fan of horror games, and I haven't even seen the trailer for this, so I don't even know if it's a horror game. But I'm excited for this because I'm a huge fan of horror. I don't think there's enough like good horror stuff out there. So if this comes out and it's good, I might just have to cop. Okay. Trick says, I thought they said they're only going as far as PS4 and backwards compatibility. I haven't looked up on that, so I don't know. But if that's the case, that is beyond disappointing. I would love if they gave us some PS3 games to be backwards compatible with, because I have not a huge amount into PS3 games, but there are some that I want to play. Like I have Dark Souls 1 on my... I have a version of Dark Souls 1 that was on the PS3, and of course I can always just play the remaster, but I'm broke and I can't buy the remaster, so I want to play Dark Souls 1 again. Only game I care about nowadays is Cyberpunk. Yeah, Cyberpunk, when that comes out, I know, as we've already said in the chat channel, but Cyberpunk just cannot possibly live up to the hype that everyone has like made it to be. The hype is like unbelievably high, and Cyberpunk is not gonna deliver. Cyberpunk, obviously says Cyberpunk looks goated. It does, but people are gonna be disappointed when it comes out. Not because it's a bad game, but people want to believe that it's gonna be such a good game that like it's, you know, gonna be everything. And yes, Smokey, yes, you can customize your genitals in Cyberpunk. Big news, big news. Demon Slayer on console typing. Trick, I don't think Cyberpunk is gonna fail. It's just not gonna live up to the hype. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be an amazing game, is what I think. It's just the hype is what's gonna be like. I expected this to be like an S tier, but the game is only gonna be like an S tier, is what I'm saying. It's still amazing, just not like what people want it or are expecting it to be. But yeah, I'm excited for that. And I'm excited for Baldur's Gate 3, which is coming out on the PC in like a month or so. And it's basically like D&D, but in video game. And I'm fucking so excited because it's by the same studio that made Divinity. And I'm pretty sure none of you guys heard of that except for Smokey, because I talked to him about it a lot while we were still in school. And I just can't get enough of that game. Smokey, I have not seen the article that says this, but if you say it's true that I can have if my in-game character can have sex with my friends' in-game characters, lit. That's even another reason I'll buy the game. Just another. Do I have anything else in my show notes? I don't. So. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. I can't believe I forgot. The new God of War, Ragnarok. We didn't even get like a trailer for it. We just got a little teaser. Whew. Listen, I don't know how many of you guys play God of War. Amazing, and I'm so happy I got to play it. It's kind of funny how I got to play it because my dad knew that I liked God of War, so he like rented the game out for like 2 days on a weekend. And I had to beat the entire story in 2 days. And let me just say, I was up all day playing the game because I couldn't take a break or else I wouldn't be able to finish it. And thankfully, I was able to beat it, but I was never. I wasn't able to do the side content. So the game is really good. The story is good, just itself. Like I would buy the game just for the story, let alone like all the side content it has, because I wasn't able to do it. But that's like one of the reasons I want to, play it again and, and beat it so I can get to that side content. But Ragnarok is going to be excellent when it comes out, and I'm really excited with the direction that God of War is taken because I've played all the mainstream God of Wars 1, 2, and 3, and I'm really liking this new direction they're taking. It's really good. And I like that they're focusing more on well, they're not focusing more on story, it just has a lot more story, but the action is really good. So if you haven't played it and you have the money, go buy it. It's amazing. And with that, if you guys don't have any more questions or anything you want to talk about, I'm going to wrap it up here because I have nothing else on my show notes. All right, I definitely wasn't expecting that. Fattest cock in anime. Go. I don't know, man. Probably Issei. It's always Issei. You can't be the harem king for nothing, you know? Like, if you give yourself that title, you got to back it up with some evidence. So it's definitely Issei from High School DxD. Cap. All right, so who is it? Abu. It has to be Issei. He calls himself the harem king, and he has something to prove it. It's not Cap. I'm going to wait for Ambu's answer, and then I'm going to wrap it up, because there's nothing else on the show notes. And I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of sick of talking. Smokey just said Astolfo got the biggest one. I don't even know why we're talking about this. I'm glad this is at the end of the podcast. Come on, Ambu. Let me see that answer so I can wrap this up, because I have nothing else I want to talk about. This a little sus? It sure is Trig. Selfie Captain Yami. Isn't that Black Clover? Yes, sir. All right. Well, I haven't seen Black Clover, so I can't say. All right, I'm wrapping this up. I'm done talking about this. This is super sus. Oh, wait. Smokey says, actually, wait, no, I take that back. It's canon that the angel MFer from the Interspecies Reviewer has that horse peen. Yes, he does. And with that, I'm so glad that this is what I end off on. I'll talk to everyone later. I mean, there's not a lot of people in here, but I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm wrapping this up. I don't know when I'll be back with a new Corbin's Corner podcast, but I hope you enjoyed. Talk to you guys later. See ya.